NeoTech Process, where next-gen factories, robotics, and sci-fi engineering come to life. In a silent mega-factory at the city's edge, air itself becomes the foundation of motion. Here, the AeroBloom Air Scooter is born, where blooming airbags and kinetic foam redefine how vehicles move. Imagine stepping onto a scooter that never truly touches the ground, floating always on a living cushion. Beneath its deck, thousands of petals of pressurized air unfurl, swallowing cracks, shocks, and vibration. You no longer ride over the street. You ride on sculpted air that behaves like terrain. To create that softness as machine, the process begins not with wheels or frames, but with molecules.
Raw powders, luminous liquids, and shimmering filaments arrive, destined to become shells of air and living foam.
In towering vats, translucent polymer resins await transformation into the ultra-thin skins of blooming airbags.
Nearby, pale precursor gels stack like frozen clouds, ready to evolve into the responsive kinetic foam.
Inside a sealed mixing hall, articulated robots plunge into the gel, stirring intricate vortices with surgical precision.
Microcapsules flood into the mixture, each holding phase-changing compounds that convert pressure into motion and electrical charge. Under ultraviolet beams, the gel thickens, solidifies, and robotic slicers carve flexible sheets, the scooter's future muscles. On another line, graphene-reinforced filaments extrude into films thinner than paper, yet stronger than steel. Laser arrays etch microscopic valve patterns into each film, creating hidden nanogills that will breathe controlled air.
Hexagonal molds descend, pressing film into three-dimensional cells that swell like petals under heat and pressure.
These micro-bloom chambers tessellate into vast arrays, thousands per scooter, each capable of instant inflation or collapse.
Foam sheets arrive at the fusion ring, where lasers score honeycomb patterns and robots carefully align cells.
Each blooming chamber anchors into the foam, so structure and air interlock, forming a single responsive skin.
Test rigs flex the AeroBloom bed, waves of inflation racing beneath its surface like muscles under synthetic skin.
The completed airbed glides along a track into the main assembly hall, approaching waiting skeletal chassis. Lightweight alloy and carbon spines hang in rows, designed not to hold wheels, but to cradle air.
Multi-armed robots lift the airbed, stretching it across each chassis underside, locking micro-connectors into recessed ports.
Instantly, thousands of sensors and processors join the network, giving the scooter a primitive but eager nervous system.
Above the bed, compressed air microturbines slide into the frame, compact breathers ready to inhale surrounding atmosphere.
Manifold channels weave outward, while wafer-thin power modules attack, ready to store routed air and harvested motion.
On a parallel line, sleek steering columns form, embedding haptics and transparent displays within a minimalist structural spine. At their core sits a flow-field computer, onboard intelligence predicting terrain and rehearsing the airbed's reactions.
Deck, airbed, turbines, and controls finally converge, and the scooter's form becomes recognizable, familiar, yet strangely alive.
In a silent testing chamber, robots place each scooter onto a dynamic platform that can mimic entire cities. The surface shifts into cracked asphalt, gravel, and abrupt curbs as systems power up, awaiting the airbed's response.
Power flows. Micro-bloom cells inhale in unison. Foam tightens, and the scooter rises a whisper above ground.
A jagged ridge snaps up beneath it, yet front cells collapse, rear cells bloom, keeping the deck level. Every impact becomes data and energy, harvested and routed back into batteries and the foam's crystalline lattice.
Only once it glides across orchestrated chaos without trembling do gates open, releasing scooters toward the surface world.
Outside, they whisper over rough streets, turning cobblestones into clouds and catching misjudged curbs with blooming cushions. Cities adapt as lanes shrink, Scooters nest deflated in arrays, and rescue platforms skim rubble and alien terrains.
In these factories where air blooms and kinetic foam is born, humanity quietly crosses a new threshold.
The AeroBloom is more than a gadget. We convince the very air beneath us to rise.
If you enjoy the video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more.